It certainly looked like total classical cattle mutilation stuff. I believe what the Fazio's experience was a cattle mutilation episode, and I think there are hundreds, if not thousands of them, and why we have them, I don't know. They're trying to get our attention, and increasingly they're getting it.
How are D.B. Cooper and cattle mutilations related? Well, in 1980, some of D.B. Cooper's money was found near Vancouver, Washington, on a beach called Tena Bar. And the farmer who owns Tena Bar experienced something strange: cattle mutilations.
This is the fifth cattle steer that's been mutilated since mid-spring of this year.
He had 5 cattle mutilated, found dead. And these were found dead with surgical precision. And that's not my words, that's what the diagnostic lab at the University of Oregon had to say.
Some have said cult followers are to blame, but medical evidence makes that unlikely. Tissue samples sent to Oregon State University for testing showed that high heat had been used to make the strange rippled incisions, heat like that of a medical laser.
So today we're going to find out what caused this. Could it be aliens? Could it be the government, or even pagans? But as a former milkman, I know that it's my job to bring justice to these cows, or at least debunk some myths. And that's what we're going to try to do today. Well, while I was doing an investigation on Tena Bar, we were able to actually meet the property owner, who was even there that day. The FBI wrote him a thank you note as well, so it was really interesting to be there and see that. While we were there, he actually showed us something that he called his own X-file. He showed us newspaper clippings. He showed us even a report from the diagnostics lab from the University of Oregon, and that was really neat to see because it actually showed surgical-like precision, coagulation necrosis as well. And this X-file of his showed us a whole new mystery. His family's cows had been mutilated. He had 5 cows mutilated. The first one one of his farmhands noticed and brought to his attention, and it had surgical-like cuts too. And what's interesting is a UFOologist came in and investigated after officials had looked, and the farmer became frustrated. He's like, I don't know what caused this. I don't think it was aliens, but if this guy's willing to look into it, why not? Let's see where it goes. And Sposito took pictures and showed these look surgical-like. These are pretty precise. We should have the diagnostics lab at Oregon State take a look, and that's when they wrote that report. So one of the reasons that people are calling this alien related is because there doesn't seem to be any other cause, and the cows are what they call exsanguinated, which means there's no blood in the surrounding area, and they're missing eyeballs, they're missing sex organs, right? But there's no blood, so where did the blood go? Another reason that people suspect aliens is because there's no footprints, there's nothing left behind, and there's specific things related that were missing that we would have no way of knowing what caused them. And also there have been similar sightings of aliens in nearby areas. Could aliens really be causing these cattle mutilations? One of the questions we'd have to ask first is, why would they be mutilating cows, and why would they be leaving them? Bruce Smith, a reporter who made his iconic appearance on HBO's documentary The Mystery of D.B. Cooper. Here's what he told me about the Fazios.
So, when the question is, are they good or bad? I think they're good, and I think they're here for our evolution. I think they're here to make us greater than what we have been, and to really advance Homo sapiens into something new. And other people talk about this. Bashar calls it the move towards becoming citizens of the galaxy. And he calls them humans are going to become known as the Homo Galacticus. And there's a guy in Seattle that talks about how mindfulness is moving everybody in a more spiritual and mindful direction, and he's calling it Homo Lumina, that everybody will be will become illuminated.
But something that I noticed later, this was done in about 2007, and the pictures that we see are close-ups. MUFON did a presentation and showed even more pictures, even more in-depth. And what those pictures show is even more interesting, because when you look at it, all of those pictures were all zoomed in, but now these ones show actually a zoomed out picture. So what these pictures show us is that there are more photos, and on those photos it says organs removed, and the back half of the animal is almost completely gone. It's true that there are specific parts missing, but also the entire back part of this cow is gone. But then 2 years later, Sposito, the UFOologist, he actually made an appearance on a television show. And he was interviewed, and some of those photos were shown.
15,000 of these cases in the United States and Canada since the 60s. And you know, you look at the records, you look at if there's anybody been prosecuted, has anybody been arrested, and you don't find that. You don't find any prosecutions, you don't find any arrests. In a forensic sense, you use all the information, you look at all of it. And when you get all of that information and you run it through a sieve, you come out that there is some other non-human entity doing this.
He received letters from all across the country. Even the California Cattlewomen's Association president, who told Fazio, "Little did I know I would become a part of a vast network of owners of mutilated cattle, and some cows had strange patterns of cuts. The grass samples from last year showed microwaving, similar to crop circle changes." So with all of this alien talk, there's also several other theories that people have put out there as well. But we didn't get around to it today, so that means we'll have to do a next part. So if you're interested in learning more about the connection to D.B. Cooper, to maybe the connection to pagans, also the natural causes, which are just as interesting as some of the other theories as well. So stay tuned and check out what we have in store next.